Hello folks, here is Singers from Ants Latvia and we starting with new episode. A lot of you guys probably know that I have these beautiful big carpenter ants with silky body and red heads. They're called Camponotus singularis and they are expert level ants. It is meaning they require a certain level of experience to keep and raise them in captivity. They're quite big ants in size. Workers are averagely 2.5 centimeters big. Soldiers can reach even 3.5 centimeters in length. Meanwhile, queen is approximately 3 centimeters long. It is always cool to observe them as it is easy by naked eye due to their size. It is always quite a watch to see them gathering around food and feasting. Their nests are rare in nature and usually found under old logs of tree or inside decomposing tree logs. They possess mild temperament and are mostly described as calm and non-aggressive ants. In danger situations, these ants choose flee tactics over defense or any kind of aggression. They rarely hunt, but if so, they mainly smaller insects in size as they are. Mainly they choose to scavenge upon already dead small animals or insects. Their main diet consists proteins, food as mentioned before, and sugary liquid substances as honey, dew, sugar, water or pre-made syrups. Their nests need not only a humidity but a good ventilation as well. And this is the main point what makes them hard species to raise as well, that the fact that they mostly don't survive in transportation and queens often eat their brood during disturbances. They are very stress intolerant. Talking about nests, for my singularis nest I made it out of concrete specifically, not the gypsum, not the wood as usually for other Camponotuses, but specifically of concrete because it retains a lot of less humidity and lets the nest to breathe, as it can be called this way, better. But if you are lucky to get stable population, as me for example, you are lucky as well, as they are one of the best Camponotus ants to keep. Their natural region in nature is across Asia, but they are more abundant in South China. Besides of my colony, I got one separate queen from one of my friends, and I kept her for almost a month when I noticed that there is something wrong with her. She didn't produce any brood, nor even laid an eggs. Even unmated queens start to lay eggs eventually, but this one didn't. She seemed weak and fed it quite badly, sometimes refused my offered food. Then I noticed something that every ant keeper fears the most to find in their ant housings, the grain mites. Grain mites aren't parasitic, they don't feed or suck host juices or that parasitic ones do. They are small in size and rarely can be noticed by naked eye, mostly can be seen as white dots slowly moving. In cases when these ones overpopulate, they can hitch on ants and block their sensory and feeding organs, even anuses of ants, and in this way to lead them to death. So these are dangerous for ants as well. This probably is the reason why queen is in distress and don't normally eat or like an eggs. Knowing that one, ant queen is probably used all stored in and sources to sustain herself, as she didn't fed properly. It can be a reason she don't have any reserves left for egg laying. Then I needed something to boost her inner energy reserves, knowing that ants feed each other by using social stomachs and prophylaxis, and that I already having stable ant colony of this species. I needed to start to act. So follow my upcoming actions, guys. I started to hunt workers from colony using soft tweezers and started to catch them one by one. They could be catched near the water supply easily as there was a lot of open space in arena of Formicarium. I captured in total 5 workers, as this number represents an average number of first nanitics across Camponotus genus. See the queen in other tube. She seems disoriented and clumsy in her tube. It was sad to watch her. Then I took my pre-ordered hybrid 20 cm by 30 mm tube with reusable watering system and sand chamber for constant moisture. I filled it up with 5 milliliters of pre-boiled water. When I moved Singularis Queen in her new tube, she seemed very unhappy for this idea and was searching for opening to escape, but after some time she calmed down. I rechecked my young colony of my reared Hippoaspis miles predatory mites. These orange dots moving on charcoal are predatory mites, but elongated white dots are springtails that I put in mite container as food for these mites. These mites were supposedly put in new tube with queen to kill any left grain mites that are bad for ants. Then I put a test tube with captured workers into the freezer in fridge. I waited approximately 50 seconds and then took them out. They were freezed to a point they stopped to move and looked dead at first glance, but they were alive. Putting ants in freezing temperature to a short period of time till stop of movement capabilities puts them in induced diapause, where they reset their sensory nervous system, forget their colony's scent, and in this way you can hack their brain to let them think that they waking up in their own colony and they won't be aggressive against any upcomer. When I put them to this queen, I hoped that they will start to feed their new queen after they will wake up. But 3 days have passed and no trophallaxis haven't spotted. Queen got only weaker. Meanwhile, I ordered the cricket body parts to a Singularis colony as a remedy for 5 comrade loss. My offering looked suspicious to them and they stayed a while in the gates of the nest entrance. Next day, Queen almost lost capabilities to move her body properly and new workers still refused to use a trophallaxis to feed Queen. It is probably because Queen hasn't left any power to lift up her head for trophallaxis feeding, as ants feed each other by raising their heads to each other, otherwise they can't connect their mouth parts with each other. Yeah guys, and sadly after 3 more days Queen died. I did what I could. So yeah. So it is all for this video. If you like this channel, please subscribe to be noted for new videos. I may say goodbye for this time, or in Latvian, uz redzi.